Welcome back, guys. As you see, we have the Kansei wheels out, and I'll show you what we're doing with these here shortly. So you saw we loaded up our Kansei wheels and we are headed somewhere. If you guys don't follow his channel, we're headed out to Chris's house. His name on Instagram and YouTube is It's a Beamer Life. We are not collabing, but we're providing some items for his new build. If you haven't seen his new build, he picked up a 318 Ti. I believe it's a 97 5-speed, which is the same year and same style as the 318 we picked up about a year and a half ago or a year ago, that we haven't even touched yet. So he's gonna do a build giveaway on his channel, so I will link his channel in the description below, guys. Go check out his channel, watch the build. It's gonna be pretty fantastic. A pretty cool car. When he's all done with it, it's gonna look fantastic. So we are headed out to his house, so I'll see you guys when we get there. So we're pulling up to Chris's house. You can see, of course, all the Beamers. That is his house with all the M's and M5 and M3 and everything else. I don't know where the 318 is, but it's got to be somewhere. Damn, looks like mine. Flat tires and all.
She ain't been washed yet.
Hey, still looks good. So we just left Chris's. The 318's not there. It's actually at the shop getting some work done, so he can get it back to the house so he can start working on it. I didn't film much while we were there. We just really unloaded the wheels, kind of shot the ship for a minute, and then I'm headed back home. So let's get back home and see what we got to work on our cars. We are back, guys. As you saw in last video, we put our beautiful Reboot Engineering valve cover on, and it looks fantastic still now. Our next thing that we need to tackle is we finally got all the rest of our parts to put in our ITBs, so we need to start tackling this. So, well, excuse the fan noise. It is 100 degrees here today, so I'm gonna have to talk a little bit louder, but where we left off with the ITBs is it is hitting our TPS sensor is hitting our what is this thing? Oil filter cap. As you can see, it's barely hitting right there. But I've been told that the manifold for the S54s actually hits this as well, but we need to get these down far enough that we can actually decipher if that, you know, if we can use this, if this needs to rotate a little bit. We have some wiggle room with this, but like this sensor is going to be in the way if it points that way, because you can obviously see it'll hit right literally in the throttle. So this either way has to kind of rotate. If we have to, we'll take this sensor off and actually move it back here and use the rally road piece and put the sensor down there, and it'll be out of the way. Then we can just cap that off there. But we got to make sure that it's going to clear even this little piece here, the manifold coming up and over. So let's pull this off real quick, get these into place, and see where this sits in here, and see if we can get our plugged in. So we have our oil cap off. and these are actually seated pretty good exactly where they're gonna be. I need to put the bolts in to kind of hold them down. I have one in just that holds the whole assembly in, but we need to get the rest on and bolted down. But for the time being, come over to our little E36 parts bin. We have a multitude of caps, OEM caps. So we're just gonna grab a cap right now and put it on, just so that we have where nothing falls into it. Grab one of our bolts here and put it on, just so nothing falls into it, and so we can figure out if we're going to be able to use that or not, that cap. If not, that's going to change a lot, because we rely on that for the oil cooler and stuff, so that's going to be fun. But let's get this figured out and bolt it down. So just a matter of putting all this hardware on, and I've been told that a lot of this hardware, it's super hard to get an actual wrench on because of how the spring stuff is loaded. I mean the throttle spring. So we're gonna put this stuff on as much by hand as we can, and then tighten down with a socket if we can, but I think it's gonna end up being a open-end wrench, but we'll see how this goes on, because this stuff is, it's hard crap to get to. I can't even get to it all. I really need to take the fuel rail off, but kind of put this all in together as a package piece. Let me get a magnet. Surprisingly a little bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be, but throttle cable, which surprisingly is super short. I did not know it was that short. It's gone. Where's our new one? Here's our new one. And from what I can tell, I believe this goes down and onto the actual throttle itself. I'm not 100% sure, because I would think, oh, maybe this goes, that's got to go in, because this got to go in the firewall, right? Wouldn't that cinch into the, hell, I don't know. I gotta figure this out. I don't know which way this goes. Time to look at some pictures. So, I just talked to another guy who has put this on his car before, and we need to take apart this end of the throttle linkage, because we have to run this from in there up and out, and then we can put this all together on the outside. So we need to pull this apart and get this off. There we go. And I'm gonna put this in exact order that it came off of, so that I don't F it up. So we're gonna put this in from the bottom and snake it up. Well, we have our throttle cable through our firewall, and it's gonna attach to some brackets over here that we're about to put on. But I am a lot fatter than I used to be, guys. I don't fit under that dash as well as I used to. I used to be able to just slip right in, but God, not anymore. So what I didn't realize, and you know, I should have, but we don't have instructions for this, so it's a do it and then do it twice type of thing. This bracket actually sits right here, and we have to remove these 3 bolts here that we already put on. We need to remove those and put this bracket on there, and then we need to remove these 2 or these 3 and take this little plastic piece off, because that's going to be the throttle linkage on that side for this little piece. So this piece bolts right like that. right there. So we need to get all that taken care of. So let's get these 3 bolts off, get this bracket on, then we can kind of mock up our throttle linkage, and we got to cut our throttle linkage depending on where everything is. But let's do that. Okay, so this bracket goes right up here. All this stuff kind of gets tucked away, but I have a lot of different hoses here and connectors. I think that connector goes back that way. I think that maybe that's that connector. This one it goes that way. So a bunch of stuff that needs to clip down and get cleanly out of the way for this to go right in here, so nothing gets in its way. So we will just throw bolt number 1 in, and then throw bolt number 2, and just, well, I say that, there it goes. And then we'll tighten that down. So we got our plastic piece off, and this is what replaces it. So that piece is like that, this piece is gonna go up there. So this piece to us is trash. So all we gotta do, look at that, bolts right up there, and we put our 3 bolts right back in. Two, 3. Okay, now that all that's together, we need to run our throttle cable, but before we do that, we need to throw our injectors on so we can get all this stuff back up and on the other side. So let's get these injector clips. Do I have a... get these injector clips done. Well, shoot. Well, I thought. Oh, I got the cut. I got nothing to cut. None of these cut. I need some scissors. So these are super simple. They just clip right on to our E36 injectors. And then what we're gonna do, not right this second, but eventually here, is we are going to actually modify our wiring harness so that we can let me move my ghetto hood prop for a second. We are gonna move our, or modify, not move, but modify this MES or MES Motorsports on Instagram. They have a pretty legit setup of how this is run real nicely in a pack of wires. So what we're gonna end up most likely doing is taking this apart, not right this second, but taking this apart, taking all these off, you know, making these clip into here, and then bundling them and wiring them all together outside of this plastic. So I want to do that, or another option is we get the S52 wiring harness and replace all this with S52 that runs down here and runs across the back, but that's not here nor there or now, so that's gonna be in due time. So not right this second, but definitely sometime in the future. We got to figure that out so that we can get this thing to look pretty as well as it runs. So I did this wrong. No, I didn't do it wrong. We just need to, this needs to go in there. So we need to take this apart again to get it there, but let's put on our throttle linkage for this. Did we? I don't know how this is gonna go. Oh, time to look at some more pictures. Be right back. So now we gotta come up and under here. I don't even know if you guys can see. I'm gonna flip you guys. I gotta put the flashlight down. We got a rat's nest up here, but we need to put this on the throttle, which is over here. But throttle cable run. We're actually gonna cut it. It has a significant amount on here. We're gonna cut it and put all this stuff on, and that stuff bolts right there. So we can cut this cording back way back here, put this in, and then we'll figure out our exact line length. But we need to get this mounted up first. So we have our throttles bolted up, our injectors hooked up that we're gonna rewire and everything eventually when we find our S52 coil packs. I know I've been saying that for a while though, but once we get our throttle, this little button out, I gotta figure out how to press that out, but I'll need to do that. Put this throttle on, cut our throttle cable, then we'll be done with all the throttles and it'll basically operate. The only other thing we need to do is I need to rewire this pin to accept, I think it's like a, I gotta rewire 1 and 3, I believe. I don't know, we'll have to figure that one out. But we're gonna grab the manifold and we're gonna test fit it real quick to kind of see what kind of clearance we have with the oil filter, so we can see what we can possibly do. So let's grab that and throw that in real quick and see what we got.